Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Anna Morfides with Inner Hearts Counseling, and we're gonna spend today's video talking about how we can break free from an anxious attachment style in romantic relationships. Breaking away from that pattern of feeling insecure, anxious, discombobulated within your body, overthinking in your mind. We're going to talk about, first of all, why this pattern exists within you in the first place and how to get rid of it. So in 2024, you can love freely and with more ease and comfort. So the first thing that I wanted to do actually is, well, I should probably introduce myself if I didn't already so. I forget, I don't remember. Well, I'm Anna Morfides with Inner Hearts Counseling. I'm a certified wellness counselor and life coach who is also going through her own untwisting of limiting core beliefs and still healing my childhood traumas to become the best version of myself. And as I'm learning all these modalities that have helped me free myself from, please excuse my doggy, free myself from all these unhelpful ways of being anxious and insecure in relationships with the masculine energy that I find to be attracted to. So it's my pleasure to share with you everything that I have learned. So I did a paper on insecure attachment because none of us escape an attachment style as we are being raised, right? From the ages of 0, some literature says until 7, some until 9, some until 12 years of age, we go through life and we acquire an attachment style due to how our primary caregiver is interacting with us. And if you are feeling in your relationship, in your romantic relationships now as an adult, insecure, you find yourself overthinking, overanalyzing, being scared, being clingy, not being, actually feeling, because we're not our feelings. We're just this calm energy that is called like the soul, but our emotions that are created from our thoughts produce these feelings that are not actually us, but we feel the feelings. So you might feel the feelings of neediness, you're feeling the feelings of insecurity, too much, to this, to that. This is exactly the type of feminine energy I was showing up as in my relationships, whether they were new, I wanted one to be new, or was in one. My overall dominant energy was that of insecurity until I went through counseling school and they tested my attachment style, and lo and behold, I belong, there's 4 attachment styles, I belong to the anxious attachment style, or sometimes it's called ambiguous ambivalent attachment style. And everything, the whole world made sense to me. It made so much sense to me why I keep appearing the way that I am. And every time with the masculine energy, I would feel sick deep in my tummy every time I interacted with them because of fear of abandonment, fear of rejection, fear of like, am I being too much? Am I being this? Am I being that? Overthinking in my head, overanalyzing, checking my phone. Are they responding? Do they like me as much as I like them? And I thought I was losing my mind, and I was like, why am I this way? Like, what is happening? Like, what? So yes, they tested my attachment style, and sure enough, I was that of an anxious attachment style product of my childhood. And I did a paper on it, and I want you guys to understand deep down on a cellular level what is happening to you. And I have to say, thank God for somatic therapy, through breath work and energy healing, that I have been able to heal or start healing myself from this attachment style deep down in the cells of my body. Okay, so I'm going to share with you what this anxious attachment style does and how it affects us in our relationships that are romantic in nature as adults, and why we feel the way that we feel. So I'm going to look at it because I feel like I don't want to mess it up. So when I am present in you as an adult. This is the anxious attachment style talking to you. We typically do use constructive strategies that affect your regulatory system. This will lead you to be more vulnerable to affective disorders such as depression and or anxiety. I will implicate things further and make intervention and treatment harder for you to break out of by increasing the cycle of risk. On a neural level, I will directly influence how effective your system is mediated by neurotransmitters such as dopamine and oxytocin. Dopamine and oxytocin are so important for our vital well-being. Like they're little neurotransmitters that our body absorbs. Like it's like when you go to work out, you produce oxytocin, I believe, through you working out. Like it's a feel-good chemical. Like you need these chemicals in order to feel good. And these chemicals, if your primary caregiver is doing what they're supposed to be doing as a primary caregiver to provide safety and to see their children, soothe their children, the 4S's, safe, seen, secure, and soothe. If they provide all that, then the kid will get the right amount of these neurotransmitters in their nervous system, and the nervous system will be able to develop optimally, right? In the case of my nervous system, it turns out it was like really backed up because I was constantly in fight or flight because I was not quite safe. So instead of my body producing these beautiful neurotransmitters, it was mostly trying to protect itself from the abuse that was going on around me. So now as an adult, our neurons are still going to be seeking for these little neurotransmitters. And this is what happens in relationships, you guys. And this actually like really makes me want to cry. So we talked about dopamine and oxytocin. Dopamine is your brain signal that a reward is at hand. This is the joy that is felt when an unmet need is met. So if we were children and our needs were met, we would have absorbed enough dopamine in our body to not be seeking it like crazy addicts when we're adults. And then oxytocin is the good feeling of social trust. This is released when the safety of social support is met. You will spend your entire life trying to find these. This is how anxious attachment style affects us, and this is why it screws us up when we are in proximity with someone who we are romantically interested in. Like if our energy is attracted to someone's energy that through recapitulation has... Okay, let me explain. How do I explain this? When we are children, our needs need to be met by our parents. There's no other way because we cannot meet our needs. We don't even know what they are. We literally depend on our parents, right, to have our needs met. So when we don't have our needs met, later on as adults, the person that will be the closest to the role of the primary caregiver that's supposed to give you these met needs is now going to be that person of your romantic interest. So in your eyes, your inner child is going to interpret that person as a different version of the primary caregiver that you never had. So now you're going to be attaching to this person to give you that dopamine, to give you that oxytocin, because you're looking for it still. And it's not because you're crazy or you're too needy or you're too this or you're too that. Fuck that bullshit. I'm sorry. That's not what it is. I'm so sick and tired of hearing this, not just from others, but like from my internal dialogue. This is not my fault. It's no one's fault. It's not my primary caregiver's fault. It's no one's fault. It's not my mother's fault. It's nobody's fault. This is a lesson that I decided to embark on as a human, having a human experience in this particular lifetime. And I have embraced it, even though it has been so challenging to be me in the dating world because I'm always in my head. I'm learning to not be in my head anymore, and I'm understanding the why. So please don't be hard on yourself and don't judge it. Please don't judge yourself in what you're experiencing. You can beat it, I promise you, because if I can, so can you. Okay, so we're gonna keep going. Okay, so this search for oxytocin and dopamine will lead you to toxic relationships where you will be needy and not in control of your own validations. And this is where we get in trouble, you guys, and we allow relationships that are not good for us to still be with us because we don't have the discernment for anything different. So we will allow people to breadcrumb us, say bad things to us, mistreat us, simply because of this little fact. So again, don't think what's wrong with me. Just think, okay, this is my anxious attachment style and this is what's happening on a neural level, and I'm going to be okay because now I know, and with knowledge comes power, and we're going to beat it. Because if we don't beat it, our strong fear of rejection and criticism and abandonment will be there in our relationships, along with overanalyzing and worrying excessively about relationships. Okay, there will be jealousy and frustration when your partner is unavailable and not attentive. Again, this is called recapitulation in the psychology and or counseling world, because it's like recapitulation is like basically reenactment of what happened in your childhood. Right? Like you're wanting all this from your primary caregiver. And then now that you're an adult, that primary caregiver is no longer the one that you're going to be naturally attaching to have your needs met. It's going to be that person who will be attaching to you, not attaching to you, sorry, you'll be attracted to in a romantic way. Excuse me. Yeah, so that's your inner child gets confused. So now, how do we get rid of attachment style? Okay, there is hope, you guys, because with management and awareness, anxious attachment style can go away. The repeated rejection felt as a child, which has now developed into a continuous wish for social co-regulation, can be managed in the following ways. Willingness to acknowledge childhood pain. You have to feel it to heal it. And this is what the people that I have been working with have taught me. Sit with it, allow it to come through you. And the latest little piece of nugget that I was given is to not put too much weight on it. Just acknowledge it. Okay, here it is again. Here's that uncomfortable feeling. Here's where I'm starting to feel that the other shoe is going to drop. This is where I'm feeling anxious. And then remind yourself that you're safe. I am safe within my body. I am an adult now. I don't need anyone to validate me. I am fine. This is just due to my anxious attachment style. I do no longer need to fear rejection and or abandonment, because there's only one person that I need to ever count on now anyways. It's me. Because if I, the adult Anna, do not reject, do not abandon my inner child, that will be reflected back to me from the world in my romantic relationships. That is for sure. As long as I continue to do the work to stop abandoning myself, rejecting myself, and however that looks like, I won't abandon myself from eating good food or getting exercise or doing the the things that make me feel good, like going out with my girlfriends. I won't abandon my sleep, my wellness. I'm not going to abandon doing my affirmations in the mirror and telling me I love you. I'm not going to reject myself when I do something that's not okay or a mistake. I'm not going to reject myself and put me down. I'm going to accept myself and forgive myself. I'm going to do these things so the outside world can mirror that back to me through my romantic relationships. I will bring compassion to the part of, bring compassion to the part of you that felt abandoned. Again, give yourself so much love. Grab your inner child. Those moments that you wanted to not be abandoned when you were a child, recreate that experience right now within your mind. Give yourself that imaginative experience, because we were taught in counseling that whether or not you imagine it in your mind or it's actually taking place in real life, your body does not know the difference. It can still have that recorrective experience through imagination. And Joe Dispenza actually is a really big supporter of this theory. He literally healed himself with the power of his mind. So it's that powerful. You can give yourself that recorrective experience through your imaginative beautiful visions of you now tending to your inner child and giving it all that it ever wanted. Next is when your fears are triggered, look at the validity of them. So when I'm interacting with the masculine and I keep feeling insecure, like ask, are they really valid? Is this actually how I am? Do they actually not want to hear from me? Am I actually too much? Am I actually too this? Am I actually too that? Because the right person, when you're healing yourself and have healed that part of yourself, will be able to hold you in that space. And that is for sure. In the meantime, any other person that's not able to hold you in those emotions, it only means that your wounded self, it's still attracting another person who is in their own wounds and are unable to meet you where you are, because usually an anxious person will attract someone who's emotionally unavailable, because that's how it works. So yeah, check the validity of it. I also have an example with someone who was eventually had talked about their own experience as a masculine, that, you know, they suffered from depression and withdrew from the world and all these other things, that a girl, a feminine, if she's interested in this person who's kind of anxious attachment style like me, will then interpret, if she didn't know what was happening to this masculine, that he withdraws because of his depression and everything that he's going through, she would not know what's going on, and she would interpret that as oh, he doesn't like me, oh, he doesn't love me, oh, he doesn't want to spend time with me. Meanwhile, this person is like suffering in their own stuff, but we are interpreting it through the lenses of the perception that the anxious attachment style gave us, which is negative self-view. Therefore, you're going to feel negative about yourself. So you're going to feel that if people are pulling away, it's because you're negative, not because maybe they're experiencing something, which was actually is what was happening in this person's life. So validity of that experience, right, is not always what we think it is. Next, share your abandonment fears with those who earn your trust. So if it's a counselor, a therapist, someone that you're seeing, like reach out, ask questions, because those people are probably going to have the tools and or knowing of this kind of, you know, knowledge, this piece of information that we're not necessarily taught. And they're going to be able to support you through that. And also learn to know when you act out of fears in unhealthy ways. So learn to know yourself and when you become this way, so then you can change it. Affirm yourself the opposite. Meditate. I would say meditation is really amazing, actually. There's some really good ones out there that are titled Safety in Relationships or Heal Your Anxious Attachment Style. These are all like really beautiful meditations to help you get in that inner state of feeling secure, because this is what, you know, people talk about self-concept, Neville Goddard, all these things, like inner state. That's like the feeling, like having the feeling of feeling safe and secure in your relationships. And I will attach actually my favorite meditations to sit with, to like reprogram my mind. And also aside from that, I lived and breathed gratitude for so long, and I did mirror work by Louise Hay to truly love myself and look at myself in the mirror. And lately what I have been doing is energy work or energy healing and brain tapping, and along with breath work, which are now helping my physical body release all the stuff that lived in my mind mentally for all these years. And yeah, slowly but surely, I'm experiencing freedom from this attachment style, and the world keeps showing back to me, it mirrors back to me all the work that I have done. And I'm not going to give up. I'm going to keep going, even though it feels so challenging. And sometimes I feel like I'm going backwards, but I'm going to keep moving forward. And please, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, reach out to me. I feel like this is my life's purpose, is like to help others overcome what I had to overcome, because this is no way of living. It's so hard on our nervous system, and like we need our nervous system to be there for us for other things. right? We need our nervous system to be there to help us with digestion and supporting our organs, our lymphatic system. Our nervous system has so many other jobs to do than to worry about getting into a relationship with a masculine. That just should be like free and easy, just like how like being a child with your primary caregiver should feel like that too. I shouldn't say should feel, but optimally it would feel that way, easy and free and loving, because your primary caregiver would give you all the 4 S's instead of feeling anxious and trying to overanalyze and overthink every single thing. I'm going to stop my video right here because I don't want to make it too long. Please, if you liked anything about it, give me a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed already, I would love for you to be my subscriber. If you had any topics, please let me know what it is. And I'd love to give you my perception of it based on everything that I've experienced and have learned along my journey. Sending you so much love and gratitude. I love you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. I wish you everything for 2024. Much love and freedom. I'll see you next time.